Hello and welcome to another episode of Film Freakz with a Z, the podcast all about movies with a Z. That's right, every episode is about a single movie, and of course we'll introduce this movie in uno momento. But first, we need to tell you about the fan vote, which is happening. It's going to be attached to the promotional tweet of this episode. That's right, on my Twitter account at Yemmy the Ferret. Just go there and vote. The poll will be open pretty much all weekend, and the winner will be revealed at the beginning of the next episode. The movies you can vote for are Power Rangers from 1995, which was, of course, recommended by Andrew. Also, you can vote for Pitch Black, which came out in 2000, which Slap recommended. Big Trouble in Little China. Yes, I know it was a part of the last fan vote, but this time it's been given to us by Chaz instead of Callus. Callus changed his, which will be in the next vote. And then we have a repeat, which is Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, which of course came out in 2009 and that was recommended by Tim Rules. If you want to jump on and get into the voting, go there to my Twitter right now, and you can vote. That's right. All right, so before we introduce the movie, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. I am Yemmy the Ferret, a.k.a. Yemmy. Who am I here with?
Greedy Waffle.
K-Mation.
And Coco Gamer.
What is up, boys?
Not much. What's up with you?
Oh, not much. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today.
I am. The Browns won. Good football games on today. Close games.
I've only been up for like an hour, so.
Lucky day. I had work all morning. Basically all afternoon.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Coco's a working man now. He can have the same complaints as us now.
Huzzah.
The tables have been turned.
How the turntables.
How does that feel, Coco?
Exhausting. This is an early shift, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. All right. So I know it's not, it's still September technically when we're recording this, but when this comes out, it'll actually be October. And Tay, you have a movie that relates to October. What do you got for us?
I got a movie called October Sky from 1999. It's the true story of Homer Hickman, a coal miner's son who was inspired by the first Sputnik launch to take up rocketry against his father's wishes. It was directed by Joe Johnston. Writers were Homer Hickman Jr. and Lewis Kulick did the screenplay. I can't even talk. Stars are Jake Gyllenhaal, Chris Cooper, Laura Dern, and many others. And let's see, what else? I'm always bad at this. I don't remember what else I'm supposed to talk about.
Start the conversation.
Start the conversation. You say. Okay, thanks. So yeah, let's. I don't know. I'm bad at this, guys. Where do you want to start? I have no particular place I want to start, so it's up. Where do you guys want to start the conversation?
Start with the acting. Acting's always a good spot to start at.
Yeah.
What did you guys feel about the acting?
I thought it was really well acted. I thought that there was strong performances from pretty much everyone, including, like, I think especially you look to the dad, and he was just really good at the role they gave him, just kind of being like arrogant, strong-headed, but also like deep down he's a good guy. They show off that as well. Yeah. And Jake Gyllenhaal, the main character, also portrayed the character very, very well. I wasn't a big fan of the teacher, but it's a very minor, gripe about that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
I really enjoyed the acting too. I thought the acting was phenomenal in this movie, even from like the bully that we saw, 10 seconds of. And the one scene that stood out to me, I don't know why it stood out, but when everyone came to the rocket launch and the guys or the football team, the star quarterback had to be or something like that, he was like like, oh, you nerd, you won't be able to do this. I'm ready for your failure. And then you like felt that, and then the rocket, of course, is successful, and the guy, the star quarterback, shows himself like he's embarrassed and like he just got shown up, and I felt you could really actually. If you paid attention, I guess you guys probably didn't pay attention as much as me. But if you guys paid attention and looked into it, you really felt that like emotion, like the kid, was getting bullied, and he had a success, and the bullier was like, "Oh shoot, I got to get out of here." So I thought the acting was phenomenal by everyone.
Don't forget the star quarterback is his brother.
Oh, no, it was the captain of the football team.
Is the star quarterback his brother? I thought he was just like a
his like nose is morphed with his forehead. I'm pretty sure that's because he got the scholarship for football.
Yeah, so there was two guys. There was his brother, and then like the captain of the football team. And the captain of the football team was making. I mean, they all were kind of making fun of him, but the captain, if you remember right, there was the one girl that Homer had a crush on. Who seemed to be like, "Oh, wow, good job!" And then she was dating the captain at the time. He comes over and he's like, "Mrr, get away!"
Yeah,
he didn't really have much like script or anything. He's just like, "Hi, I'm here," and then he was gone. But
yeah, he was more of a background character, but
yeah,
like I said, he did have a little. Interaction.
He served his purpose and what his role was. He just to be there. So it was like, oh, she's my girl. Get away.
Yeah, but even like the guys that are like the quick cut scene of the like when the cart went down into the mines. Like those, like you could literally see they all did like a good job of like acting like they didn't want to be there, and like they all hated their lives, and so I thought everyone did a good job, even the what do you want to call them, the role playing or the villains, I guess.
Yeah, the extras.
The extras, yes.
Yeah, definitely. Like Jake Gyllenhaal is like a baby in this movie. I don't know if this was his first movie or not, but he's very young. But I think he did a really good job. He sold it definitely. I think Donnie Darko was actually his first movie. This might have been, but either way, you see how far he's come now. He did Spider-Man recently, but this movie definitely. I think he played the role well, and he did. I felt for him most of the time. It was just like, God, your life. I would hate to be a coal miner. I relate with him. Like, I wouldn't want to do that. And he did a real good job selling that thing.
Yeah, every time that they did the elevator scene, like it went from, a very happy town, lots of bright colors, and then as soon as you got to like this coal mine area, it was always dark, gray. It was, black on the faces of the guys and stuff like that, and you could really tell the stark difference between the happy part of town where it's everything's fun and games, and then you go to the coal mine and like everything, like I said, everything is just a darker color, a darker hue, and I thought that was a really good way of just showing like how the coal mine is literally like, even though it's the life source of the town, it's also taking life from the very town that it's serving. And I think that's a really nice way of showing that without actually having people dying.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. The visuals of this movie, I think they did an amazing job cinematography wise, and just the visuals, like I said, come back to what Yemmy just said, the fact that town is great until you get near the coal mine, and then it's like life isn't great.
It's extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
That was actually on my list of things to bring up. Is the cosmetics in this were phenomenal. Like you could see like some of the coal miners that have been there in a while. They are black, like dark, and I'm like, oh man. And and that's seriously like they open their eyes and you see the white, and you're like, oh, okay, there's a guy right there. And it's just the cosmetics were phenomenal in this, and even when what the main character went down for a little bit, and he came up, and you see like some like coal, like random spots of dirt on his body, like his hands and his fingernails. I thought those are pretty neat. Attention to detail.
Yeah, great attention to detail. And, like, especially with him, like one of the scenes, like you only see anyone else, but his father started coughing. Like, it's a little later in the movie, but I'm saying the father started coughing up the dust. I think that not sure it's like dust or just all the lack of oxygen down there or something. I can't tell what exactly where he coughed up.
At the end of the movie, it's called black lung, and it's pretty much just they're breathing in coal, all day long, and it just it's almost like smoking like a pack of cigarettes every day or something like that.
Yeah, it messes with your lungs, and I think he mentioned early on that it's like, what has the mine done for Dad besides give him a spot on his lungs? It's like they know it's already started to kill him.
Yeah.
Well, that's why the dad was like coughing, and like these coal miners were hagging and gagging the whole throughout the movie. Those are the signs, and of course back then they didn't have the technology or the
medical equipment to treat it.
Yeah, the medical equipment to treat it and like prevent it, like we do nowadays.
I don't even know if we do nowadays.
I mean, you can do a lung transplant, I guess.
Yeah. But what I mean is, like, we don't have like technology nowadays that they did back in 99 or 98 when this movie was.
37. Well,
it takes place.
In the 50s when the movie came out in 99. But
yeah, I'm sure nowadays don't coal miners have like oxygen masks or something on?
I would assume they would have some sort of a respirator or something as they're working.
I would assume so too. They probably they probably also improved on the condition too.
Yeah.
Too, since like and for 60 years ago, 70 years ago, I should say.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's still a pretty dangerous job. I mean, not too long ago there was that big cave-in. It wasn't. I don't think it was in America. It was like in a third world country, but
Chilean miners.
Yeah, that's it. That's actually got turned into a movie too, I think.
Yeah.
I think it did.
Yeah. There was like a whole year where there was just tons of movies like that, like the oil derrick one, and then there was the Boston bomber one, and But those movies seem kind of hollow. I mean, even though the oil derrick one, because I saw that with Nick when it was in theaters. Like, even though that one was like good, same thing with Sully. This one hits a different, hits a little bit different because it's not like a disaster movie or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's about this guy's life and how he was inspired to do what he dreamed of just by looking up into the night sky and seeing Sputnik. And I think one of the most powerful moments of the movie is when he looks up going down the elevator for this first time and sees Sputnik again, and you can kind of tell that he's lost
between two worlds.
Yeah.
Oh, so I do want to ask you guys, how much time do you think has passed from when we first saw Sputnik to the moment where he's going down the mine and he sees Sputnik again?
A couple hours, I should say.
Hours?
Down. No, I mean a coal mine. I'm saying because.
Well, the first time I think it has to be months.
That's what I think. I'm thinking
you go through the whole winter cycle, and then
True.
Because they're building the rockets, they went through winter building the stuff, and then it's like springtime when they start launching the rockets. So it has to be at least a year-ish, maybe a little bit less.
So I actually looked this up, and I love that scene. I love the scene where he's going down the mine, he sees Sputnik again, but it's very artistic because Sputnik actually only lasted in orbit for 3 months.
Yes.
So, when we saw that scene, me and my wife were both like, wait, how long was Sputnik up? So we looked it up. And we're like, well, that's not accurate, but I like that scene, so I'll allow it.
Yeah. There's a flag on the play, but we've denied it. It's okay. It checks out.
Yeah.
I was like, how is this kid seeing the stars as he's going down? Because I didn't realize the elevator didn't go down yet. And I was like, how is he seeing this? There's a... But the elevator moved. I was like, oh, okay.
So I don't know how coal mines work really well, especially back in the 50s. But anytime I saw them down there, I'm like, couldn't you guys build that mine shaft just 2 feet taller, or it can't be good for your backs.
Yeah, it's gotta be something with how
Yeah.
like it could cave
How-
in if you get it
Mhm.
any wider or something like that.
Yeah.
It was because when he was in the beginning, they were mining a top. Like that guy was mining a top. I don't think he was really paying attention though. But and then
Yeah.
like it caved in that fast. So I guess that's why they don't mine a top because it caves in extremely easy.
Yeah, probably does. And like I said, it looks like they were probably mining above, and if they had, I don't know. I still feel like standing up straight, but would be. I don't know. I don't know anything about mining, and obviously it's probably accurate enough. But I was just that was one thing. I was just like, why? The other thing, so the other like small little nitpicking, because I really like this movie, but so nitpicking. So the one guy gets in trouble for helping Homer and gets, they're like, you have to go work in the mine. And then another guy starts helping them from the shop, and he never gets in trouble. And I'm just like, maybe I missed it, but did you guys catch that, or like why he didn't get in trouble? The second guy didn't get in trouble, or
I don't know either.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Like,
remember if there was like anything said about it. Maybe it's just because when he started helping them, that's when the community started pitching in. Like everyone
Maybe.
started helping.
So I guess he didn't really have that much power over them now, since
Yeah,
everyone
or-
else is starting to help him.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't part of the union, or he was like a contractor. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
They
feel like
could
I mean,
explain it a little more.
yeah, it's a very small detail, and it was one that made me go, wait, but why did the other guy get in trouble, but not this guy?
Maybe it's because he went to Homer and Homer didn't go to him, like with the other guy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So maybe it's probably he wasn't helping Homer on company time, which I think the first guy definitely did.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
all right, well, that answers that question, I guess.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the first guy who helped him, he might have been, more so forced into the mine, but he was talking about how the pay was better and stuff like that. And maybe that was just to, make Homer feel better about the whole situation.
Yeah.
But I think they could have conveyed it was him who was killed in the mine a little bit better, because you could not really see his face when they uncovered it. Even though Homer took his badge and kept on to it, it was still a little bit hard at first to see like, oh, it is that guy, because he had a Russian accent, and he had a very distinct look to him. And when they brought him up from the mine shaft, it was hard to tell that it was that guy. I just thought it was just like a random, miner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get to see that because like the very first time they pull the cover back, they like before you actually see the face, they do cut to Homer's reaction,
Yeah.
and then after a second they cut back to this guy. And I feel like if they had just reversed those two scenes a bit, showed the face and then cut to Homer's reaction, it might have hit a little harder.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. It was especially with all the coal makeup and stuff he had on. It was very hard to tell it was the same guy. I think I've seen this movie a few times, so I was like, I just know, I guess, at this point. But
Yeah. I mean, I watched this movie back in high school. I had an English teacher who really liked to show movies, and this was one of the few movies that he showed.
Yeah, I watched it in high school too. I forget what class it was. I want to say it was history, but I don't know. I did remember watching it in high school though.
Coco, have you watched it in high school?
No. Actually.
so, I don't know if I don't think maybe I did. I don't know. I saw my mom made me. I didn't make me watch it, but my mom was watching it, and I watched it with her. Like shortly after it came out of theaters. I don't know if I even saw it in theaters, but then I think I did see it again in school, and then I've watched it a few times because I really like this movie. So I've watched it a few times since then.
I think this is an important movie to show kids like high school age and stuff like that, because I can understand personally being passionate about something and then having no one believe in what you want to do with your life. And watching this, showing how he struggled with all that. His dad wasn't believing in him. His mom was there, but she wasn't like pushing him to do it. Just she okayed it. Obviously the entire school except for his teacher was against them. His brother was against him. His brother was getting like all the advantages too that he wasn't getting, like with the scholarships and stuff like that. But I think this is a good movie to show younger adults
Yeah.
practically, because it just shows like, hey, if you put your mind to something, the sky's the limit. And with this case, I mean, at the end of the movie, they said, he became a trainee, a person who trains astronauts.
Yeah,
which is pretty awesome. Like it was a really nice ending to this movie. Like all 4 of those kids got out of Coldwood or whatever it's called, and made something with their lives that the school didn't think they were ever going to do, because even the principal says it. We teach them the basics, and then they go into the mines, and that's it. And I think this is an important movie to show people for sure. Even to this day, it still resonates with
definitely
with the themes and everything.
I think kids nowadays also it'll teach them. They're like, wait, what? There was a time before cell phones.
So I wanted to talk like that forest. I wanted to talk about when that forest fire scene. They were getting arrested for a forest fire. I was like, forest fire, I should say. And during time, I was like, I don't think that could cause a fire to cause that or something like that. And every time it blew up, there was no fire around. It was.
Well, they were saying that it started because it was like it was like a hot summer or whatever, and it was very brittle. But I really enjoy that where. He does all the math and he's showing up the principal and he's like, there's no way it could have been our rocket. And then they finally go see the rocket and it's like some like advanced technology that like we haven't seen in the movie at all. It's like a flare from an aircraft or something like that. It's like, it was probably just like the principal just believing the police officers and being like, well, of course their rocket started a fire, and then once he found out that, oh no, I was being stupid. I really liked how his character changed at that moment to be like, oh shit, maybe these kids are onto something. Maybe we shouldn't just send them down into a coal mine.
Right. My biggest thing about that is like right from the get go, I've been like, well, can you show us what started the fire? Like that would have. I think
they would need a little more evidence. I think that to put them in cuffs and stuff like that. I'm like, why are you putting them in cuffs? They started a fire. They didn't hurt anyone.
Yeah.
The evidence they had
well,
was
they started the fire. I should say quotation marks, but still, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The handcuffs were so unnecessary.
Well, that's what the teacher was saying. She's like, the hell?
Exactly.
Simpler times, I guess.
Yeah.
We don't need to show you the evidence or anything. You're guilty.
I just don't understand, and maybe because it's like a no-name town. Cops, come and arrest the 4 boys, and everyone in the school is pushing against the principal door. I'm like, well,
that
highly doubt that would be happening.
No,
but.
they want to see what's happening.
I mean,
yeah,
back then it would definitely be like that. It would definitely.
You should with high school and stuff like that. Are they high school and college?
They're in high school.
They're in high school.
They're trying to get into college.
With fights and stuff, everyone's around, so it doesn't. So I can actually see that actually happening.
Especially back, nowadays, maybe they wouldn't because they would just all be texting each other about it. Yeah. But back then, the only way they could know the information was to shove their face against the door.
Plus, and like you said, it's a no-name, no-nothing town, and something's happening. Everyone's going to want to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So, yeah, I can definitely see that happening in the 50s. Maybe not nowadays, but definitely in the 50s.
Yeah.
Also, I want to talk about the beginning. I thought, I thought there was a little too much of of going to black and then changing the scene, and then going black and changing the scene, going black into changing. Because it was not showing too much different things. It was just showing them walking. I'm like, I kind of I kind of get the point. We're getting walking into a coal mine or dark place, but we don't need this many black ends.
It was during the opening credits, right?
No, it wasn't in credits on. It was just.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but I could see them doing. Maybe they're like, oh, we'll have some opening credits here, and then someone decided, no, let's put those at the end.
Yeah.
It's but we've already shot it this way. Yeah, just leave it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be better if it was just opening credits, but there was no opening credits, so it's like okay, it's like okay, I can skip it just because nothing really happens. But
Coco, did you just admit to skipping ahead in the movie?
I didn't skip past it. I was just thinking about skipping past it.
Okay, all
I
right.
was just saying at the end of it, it's like I could just skip past it.
You do realize the whole movie was set up in that little sequence.
Yeah, I know.
Coco be like, I only skipped a few chapters ahead, you know.
Skipped way to the end.
I was
from
wondering
the
this
10-minute
whole
mark
time.
to the hour 42 mark.
Yeah.
Coco was like, I was wondering the whole time, who's this Sputnik character? Why isn't he around?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are we all good on that topic? I'd like to.
I think so.
Else.
Yeah.
I would. I know Yemmy said that he didn't like the teacher, but I would have liked to known more. I mean, they do mention what happened at the end to her, but I would have liked to know why she was in the hospital or more development from her.
Because she had Hodgkin's disease.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the time I didn't know, but like I said at the end.
Well, they
Just
mentioned it.
Yeah.
Because Homer goes over to her house and she's like, "Well, there's rumors that I'm going to see a man, but I have this disease." And then they show her in the hospital. It's not that I didn't like her character. I didn't think her acting was as strong as everyone else's.
Yes. Also, she sees that when after he decides he's going to the coal mine so he can help, I guess raise money because he need.
Well, yeah, because
And
their
plus-
dad is laid down, so it's
Yeah,
someone's
and
got to
then
go
she's
down
all-
there.
Yeah, she's all mad at him, and she
Yeah.
left him why are you mad? He's not doing this because he wants to.
She did apologize for that later, but yeah, it is why are you mad?
Yeah.
He's being nice here because he's like, bro, you're not going down there. You actually have a chance to get out of the city.
Yeah.
And at that point, he feels like I don't because we started a fire, so I can't do any of that stuff anymore. So this is
Yeah.
my life. It was very heroic of him.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I would agree. It's probably not the easiest choice to do
Mm-hmm.
what you have been despising or not looking forward to doing, and then doing it earlier than you expected it to happen.
Yeah.
It definitely took a lot of courage for him to stand up and take the responsibility, and I think it's a good way to set up his dad becoming proud of him. All of a sudden he's like, oh, he's so he's just like me, and then just to have Homer be like, fuck this.
Well, he got what he accomplished. His dad's home, and it looks like he was feeling better. Well, better, I guess I should say. But he and the case has been lifted because they stated that they found that he didn't set the fire, so everything gone back to normal basically. So he didn't want to do it anymore.
Yep. Which didn't make his dad super happy, but I do love the. There's a lot of things with this, but just the whole interaction between him and his dad, their relationship. It's a roller coaster,
Mhm.
and that it comes down to I guess kind of jumping ahead to the ending ish, even though we've kind of already talked about it. But when he's at the science fair,
Yeah.
and everything gets stolen, and they're like, I need a new one. It's like, well, there's a strike going on, so we can't. And so I love when mom goes and yells at the father. It's like, if you don't fix this, I'm leaving you.
Where would
I
he
like
go?
the father's reaction though. Yeah.
Myrtle Beach.
So
I think she gives a really nice talk to him.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say speech.
Yeah.
But she gives a really nice talk to him,
Mhm.
and because she's been kind of just been nodding along and then she can finally stand up for her son and for herself in that moment.
Well, I think she was just so fed up with the father after the gunshot, and the father didn't do anything. So I think that was was that before? That was before,
Yeah, that was
right?
Yeah, it was
Yep.
before.
Yeah.
I'm about to say. And I think she was so fed up with that, and was like, okay, you need to get your act together.
Yeah.
And also him not saying anything about it. When he said, "I'm not going to college."
Yeah. So, and I love I like the dad's character that he does, and he's like, oh shit, okay, I'll fix this.
Mhm.
He was not just stubborn. Was like, no, like I think you would see that a lot of days in movies now, is where the dad would just be like stubborn, be like, no, I'm not doing
Stubborn
anything.
until like an exact end. He's like, oh no, I'm better now.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, more on the dad's character. I like that. Like it also was a slow growth because he like not like slow like not like new nowadays because he did like before when he was saying to his dad about like he wanted him to stop this nonsense he says about the rockets, but when he was about to leave he told him about some pots he could use for it though.
Yeah, for the cement.
I guess he realizes like at that not him realized at that point, but you slowly start to realize that nothing he says is going to stop him.
Yeah. And I think at that point he was a little impressed, like, oh, wow, you are willing to do this so much that you will walk 8 miles every day.
Yeah.
He seems like the kind of dad that's like, if you're strong, and like the older son's a football player, so he's like really impressed with him because he can knock down people and blah blah blah. Yeah. And with Homer, like any little spark of like manliness, he like attaches to because. This is the 50s. Dads aren't lovey-dovey with their sons or daughters in that case, and so like the only way that he can relate to his son is being like, "Oh, you walk 8 miles every day, huh?" Oh,
yeah.
I want to talk a little about the brother character because I feel like he didn't really have that much screen time.
Well, he didn't really need it. I mean, he
wasn't.
I think that his beginning thing with getting the scholarship and Homer being jealous of it because obviously he didn't deserve it. Yeah. That all fuels like the fire for him to get into this rocket stuff and try and win the science fair, and then at the end, he ends up being with the girl that Homer has a crush on, and instead of being how am I trying to say? He instead of like kidding him or whatever, he just kind of brushes us off.
Sorry, I was just Dorothy character, the one Homer had crush on. Like she clearly wants out of this town, and she will just latch on to anybody who has a chance of getting out of this town.
Yeah.
Yeah. She did that a lot.
She did. Well, like she went, she was with the captain of the football team, and then when Homer's brother got the scholarship,
and then she went
dating him.
And then she went to Homer's brother. Homer. I mean, she went to Homer.
Well, she tried to go to Homer, but Homer at that point had learned to like, no.
She a hoe.
Yeah.
I think the amount of like family time and the amount of like coal mining and like just the different like I guess what's the word I'm looking for, like different scenarios in the movie were just like played out like just enough throughout the whole movie, just right. Like that's what made me like really enjoy this movie.
Yeah, the pacing was really good. It wasn't like
the pacing
it wasn't too slow.
Pacing was good,
fast.
but there was a right amount of tea for like just for the scene.
Yeah.
There was some scenes where I wish they could have done faster, but I do agree. I'm not done fast, done a little slower but I do agree with that.
The only scene that I wish there was more of is the dad going to save the miners, or if he was already down there, the accident, whatever. Because honestly, I thought when the main character was down there and the dad was like, go follow me, and then he just kind of like threw his axe into the side. I was like, oh, that's gonna cause some issues, so I thought that was like gonna be a build up, but it wasn't.
I think that's a normal thing.
He just put his axe in the wood there, which
it scared me a little too. I was like also they say it's a little like off topic, but not off topic, but I mean different scene. But it's like they kind of yada who stole his who stole Homer's stuff.
It was probably just someone who knew that he was gonna win, and they tried to sabotage it. I don't think they needed to go into who did it or whatever. I think that they did that perfectly. Where it's like,
I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, who knows who it could have been? It could have been anyone, and you know that they were just trying to screw him so that they could win, or have a better chance of winning.
Or they just thought the stuff was cool and was like, I'm taking this stuff.
Yeah.
You don't know their motive. You don't need to know their motive. Just that everything was stolen.
Yeah. Which,
True.
yeah, which really pisses me off. I'm sure it pissed everyone off too. It's like, it's just one of those things. Stupid people, right?
Stupid people. But also, I feel like it was a little bit like Homer. He just wasn't used to the big city, so he probably left it all there, thinking it'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You come from a small town. You believe everyone's good and good natured and stuff like that. And you go to the big city, and even though they didn't show like someone getting mugged or something like that, you can tell that there was a different vibe to the whole place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they did a good job of like him being like stargazed. I mean, no pun intended, but like when he entered in the city, he was just like, "Oh wow, this is completely different. Like cars. Oh my god." I mean, I know they had cars there, but like, no, a city.
People.
Wow.
So many lights.
Yeah.
I bet they don't have a movie theater in the city.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, anything else anyone wants to talk about, or?
Not necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a really powerful movie, especially at the end. And
Yes.
I will admit that I did tear up.
I did too.
Yeah, I did. As well.
I
Coco?
didn't.
Well, Coco, you're an unfeeling monster.
I'm the evil one in here, so.
Well, yeah,
Coco's the dad.
like I was saying before, I do relate to Homer because you kind of, there was a passion that I had back in high school that my parents were like, no, that's not gonna get you, you're not gonna get a job in that, you're not gonna do this, not gonna do that, and I never acted on my inspirations. It's a it's a hobby thing that I do, but it's not something that I do for work, which I really would have loved to do, so I can really relate to this movie, and I'm sure everyone, even us in this chat, who have had an inspiration but have had someone be like, oh no, you can't do that, that's not going to work, you need to think of what's going to make you money.
Yep.
And sometimes I think it's more important to follow your inspirations and dreams, and you can even hear it from people who they're in the comedy business, they're in the movie business, they're in the whatever business, and everyone along the way said no, 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 but you kept saying yes, and you get to that point where you are successful, like Homer, who did become, he did do something in the field that he was looking into, and it's really inspiring. And I think that that's the best message that someone who I did watch this movie when I was in high school, and I did get inspired, but everyone, even the guidance counselor, was like, nope, sorry, that's not going to work out. And so I just dropped that.
Yeah.
I think this movie still stands very well, even to when we're recording this to this day in 2020. Because you can say, I mean, I don't want to get into politics, but even say that for politics. Stand up for what you believe in. Go with what's right. Don't go based off of what get influenced by social media. But I mean, that's all I want to say for that.
As say a great example would be Marvel Studios. Like once they were beginning, they got turned down by so many people about doing directing a movie, until finally, I'm not sure after how many people, but finally they got someone to start doing it, and they created a really successful franchise and movies, I should say.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stories like that. So I mean, it definitely resonates with a lot of people. I think, like I said, especially for all of us who are kind of more involved in, like, I guess, just art and entertainment culture. Growing up, I think we all probably heard of like, oh, are you sure you want to do that? I mean, you could fail.
Like, the money's not there. The money's not good.
The money's only there for the people who make it, and not most people don't make it. Which I mean, it's true a little bit, but it does make you go, oh, I guess I shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
And then you have doubts. You don't do as good as you could have if you have support. So.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we all feel it a little bit, and I'll be inspired by this movie.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we get to the final review and ratings?
No.
I don't think so.
Good.
All right, Tay, it is your duty to lead us off.
All right. Well, I think we've touched on a lot of things. Like the acting was great, the cinematography was great, the visuals were great, the story is great, characters are great, everything. I like I said, this is one of my favorite movies, so I'm definitely giving it a 5 out of 5.
All right. Yeah, I agree with what Tay said. Everything was great. The acting was good. Just the characters, the different like stages they went through, how they progressed, how they developed. They were good. There are some scenes I wanted to see, develop more, but it's not a make or break for me. I mean, I still think it's a phenomenal movie, and I still think the message to the movie still stands to this day, and I think it will always stand. And the directing of the movie, phenomenal. And just every scene, I just loved it throughout the whole movie. And I'm also going to give it a 5 out of 5. My first ever 5 out of 5.
Yeah, not much more I can add. I think I'm sure we all have some personal stake in this movie, but me personally, it resonated with me a lot. And, get you thinking about the past and you wonder what would have happened, but you can't dwell on those things. But I think that it's a great movie. It's one that I think should be shown to anyone in that age bracket that Homer is in, who is, thinking about what they want to do with the rest of their lives. And, it's a 5 out of 5 from me.
Well, I really enjoyed this movie too. I thought it was a really good movie, especially like with the ending. I really enjoyed like the science behind it too. 'Cause she actually got some scenes where they actually did I'm not sure about exactly accurate research, but definitely like it seemed like it was definitely well made in that. Especially with these big actors they have here, so they know really how to what and act and do a movie. So overall, I say I have to give it a 5 out of 5.
Wow.
We're all in agreement.
We're all in agreement. We did it, boys.
Yeah, we did it.
All right, we're all
Podcast
recovering.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Good pick, Tay. I really did enjoy this movie. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like I said, watching it again because I watched it last night again, and I was just like, God, I forgot how much I love this movie.
It could be also 2020 where you don't got much hope.
That probably does help or lean into it a little bit, but
Yeah.
But even so, like I said, I've always just really enjoyed this movie. So,
Yeah.
well, cool.
Like
I'm
I
glad
said,
you guys agreed. I was worried that like coming into this, I'm gonna be like the one who's like, I love this movie. You're all like, this movie blows. And I'm like, no.
It's a 1.5 out of 5.
So cool. Well, Coco, I think you have another movie for us.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
What do you got, Coco? 5 out of 5?
Not sure. I've been thinking about this movie because I couldn't figure it's like, it's 2020. We could use a kind of laugh. So the movie I am recommending is Deadpool from 2016.
Ah.
All right.
Alright. So, in synopsis, a wisecracking mercenary gets experimented on and becomes immortal but ugly, sets out to track down the man who ruined his looks. Director is Tim Miller, writers are Riot Reese and Paul Rednick. Some of the stars we get Ryan Reynolds, Myrna Buchanan, Karen Sony, Karen Sony, Ed Sheeran, Michael Banner, Stephen Back, Brian. I can butchering these names.
That's
Brianna.
all right. I think the only one that really matters is Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. And it's available basically everywhere because it's in Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
Well, I
It's
mean,
not Marvel Studios. It was Fox. Though.
yeah, it's
Fox Studios, sorry.
So you can
So-
get it on Amazon and Vudu, and
Is it on
PlayStation.
Disney Plus yet?
it is not
No.
on Disney Plus.
It's rated R. I think they are thinking about adding rated R movies, but I'm not 100% sure.
I do
No, I
believe I
think
have this
you're
one on
right.
DVD, so I should be good.
I've been everything basically, so fine.
All right.
All right. Well,
It's not on Netflix.
no, it is not.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I have some strong opinions about this one, but maybe watching it again will will change my mind about it, but we'll get into that next episode in 2 weeks. So, if you have not watched Deadpool by the time the next episode comes around in 2 weeks, there are going to be spoilers, so make sure you watch it before then to join the conversation. You can also join the conversation down in the comments below. Leave a comment and leave a movie recommendation for us while you're at it. Just to remind you that the fan vote is happening and it is attached to this episode as soon as it comes out. So if you want to head over to my Twitter, which is at Yemmy the Ferret, there will be the 4 movies you can choose from, which are, of course, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, Pitch Black, Big Trouble in Little China, and
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers from 1995. Thank you, Coco.
Oh.
All right. Anything else you guys want to say before we head out?
Please don't vote for Transformers.
Please don't.
Now he said that, they're going to vote for Transformers.
That's the internet
If
for
Transformers wins, I quit. I probably
So
won't
there
quit. But...
there might be a poll attached to this one where you an opening job slot.
All right. Well, I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I've been here with...
Pretty waffle.
Mission.
Coco Gamer.
And we are Film Freaks with a Z. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.
All I heard was Z from Nick.
You didn't hear my buys?
No, all we heard was a Z at the end.
My internet cut out.
Eh.
This is version of bye.